What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about Canada Day. Happy Canada Day, by the way. I got my little moose buddy, my little Canadian moose here in my pocket, here to help me celebrate, and of course all of you out there as well on this very happiest of Canadian days. But I don't want to sit here too long and pretend like I really understand what's happening or what this is all about. As a matter of fact, that's the entire point of the video, is that I don't understand exactly what Canada Day is all about, but I'm ready to remedy that immediately. I'm gonna learn a bit about the history of Canada Day, what it stands for, what kind of celebrations are had. I mean, when I think about this, the only thing that comes to mind for me as an American is it sounds like it's comparable to the 4th of July, Independence Day in America, which happens to be, in 3 days. That's kind of funny. How close together Canada Day and the 4th of July are as well. That's random. Americans really don't know about Canada Day. I have to admit, I had never heard of it until, I don't know, maybe a few months ago in a random Canadian YouTube video. I was like, oh, there's a Canada Day. Goodness gracious. What's that about? And here we are, finally, Canada Day, and I can finally learn about what's going on. So with that being said, let's take a look.
Hi, and happy Canada Day!
Oh, wow.
Would you like to learn about the history of Canada Day?
Yes.
Welcome to Jen's Juke.
Yes, I would.
My name is Jen, and today I'm going to teach you all about Canada Day, as well as teaching you 12 useful vocabulary words.
Oh.
Canada Day is observed annually on July 1st.
Okay, that must seem so obvious, but that is not obvious to me. It's always July 1st. Good to know.
If something is observed, it means that it is celebrated. Annually means every year.
Right.
So every year on July 1st, Canadians celebrate Canada Day.
Wow, oh my gosh, this is where all those photos of Canadians in Canadian cowboy hats and flags all are from. When you search like Canadians on Google and go to images, if you ever see Canadians just going crazy in the Canadian like hats and flags, it's probably all photos from Canada Days in the past. Now I get it.
Canada Day is basically a celebration of Canada's birthday.
Canada's birthday. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by the picture in the top left. Happy birthday. Day. E-H. That is... That's good. All right, a little appreciation for that. Okay, celebration of Canada's birthday. Yeah, a lot like how we think of the 4th of July in America.
Canada Day commemorates the anniversary of Canadian Confederation, which occurred on July 1st, 1867.
Okay.
Commemorate is a...
I don't do a good job remembering all of the Canadian history. The Canadian, let's go back here a little bit, Confederation, I imagine is like July 1st, 1867, where Canada was formally like independent or formally the nation of Canada. If I don't think I'm totally off there.
And to celebrate an important event. Occur is a verb which means that something has happened.
Oh, right. So this YouTube channel here, she's actually also like teaching English a bit, so there's going to be a little of that. So, that's probably good for me.
Canadian Confederation happened on July 1st, 1867.
Okay.
So let's talk about what is Canadian Confederation.
Yeah, that's just a picture of a bunch of dudes. A bunch of Canadian dudes standing. And I need a little more context. So has Canada Day, been in effect ever since 1867?
Canadian Confederation is when Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick were united together to form one federation. This happened under something called the 1867 Constitution Act.
Oh, okay. That is a bit different than what I thought. That is good. That is really good to know. It was more the uniting of a lot of different provinces. What were they up until then? Like, distinct entities? Like, self-governed somehow? This raises some questions to me. But okay, it's the uniting of a lot of different provinces.
When these four places were first united, they became the Dominion of Canada. Since the 1867 Constitution Act started with only those four provinces, now Canada has grown and is now made up of 10 provinces and 3 territories.
Yeah, I really didn't even know that at the beginning, the first United Canada, or Dominion of Canada, I think she called it, was not even that close to what Canada would eventually be now in the modern day. That's pretty fascinating.
Even though these other provinces and territories joined Canada at different times, we in Canada still celebrate the original day when Canada first became a dominion. The fact that we became a dominion means that we became a self-governing nation under the British Empire.
Okay, this is actually really good stuff. Like, I didn't know this was going to be such a intense historical lesson, but that's actually fascinating. So at that point, Canada was like self-governing, like Canada can do its own thing, but still technically under and part of the British Empire. Okay.
So we're becoming...
Well, actually, technically, Canada is still a part of the British Commonwealth, or... Oh, gosh, I'm showing a bit of my ignorance here. Still a part, like still connected to Britain today. I know that much. Okay, anyway.
Semi-partially our own independent country.
Right.
However, we weren't officially there yet. It was the first steps. It was the official beginning of Canada.
That's so interesting. That's really, really interesting. Because I think I had it in my mind that Canada Day was celebrating like, okay, Canada in its entirety now exists, and it's just independent. The nation of Canada now exists. And it's really a celebration of going further back in time to that first step of uniting several of the provinces into a dominion. Okay, that's very interesting.
This 1867 Constitution Act, many people say, is like the birth of the nation, which is why even now today, over 100 years later,
this freaking baby rolled up like a tortilla, like a burrito in the Canadian flag. That's good.
People still refer to July 1st as Canada Day, Canada's birthday.
Canada's birthday. I like that.
There were 36 influential men who helped to create the Dominion of Canada.
Okay.
These 36 men have been referred to in many history books as the Fathers of Confederation.
Wow, okay. I think I have heard of that vaguely. That certainly is not anything we talk about in American school growing up in American history class. I never at that point in my life learned about the Fathers of Confederation in Canada, that's for sure.
One of these men, most notably, was Sir John A. Macdonald, Canada's first prime minister whose...
That's another thing. That's another one I should know. Sir John A. Macdonald, Canada's first prime minister. I wonder if do a lot of Canadians know America's first president ever, George Washington, or because that's like hammered into all of our little American heads growing up, much like I assume Sir John A. Macdonald is for Canada.
His face was on our $10 bill here in Canada. Another really influential person in helping to create the Dominion of Canada in 1867 was Queen Victoria.
Right. Yeah. I learned about Victoria Day not that long ago. Victoria Day, the other Canadian holiday I didn't know existed. And how important Queen Victoria was in setting some of these events into motion and eventually leading to Canada's like more independence. Yeah.
Canada was a British colony, and it was Queen Victoria who gave royal assent to the formation of the Dominion of Canada.
Right.
Assent means official permission that you
Yeah,
are
yeah.
granting or giving to someone.
Yeah, that was like very, very important because I mean she got her own holiday out of it. That means something.
So Queen Victoria, who was the Queen of England at that time, announced and also signed the Constitution saying that Canada would become a dominion,
Yeah.
separate from England, yet still not 100% independent.
Wow.
If you'd like to learn more about Queen Victoria, including a Canadian holiday we celebrate,
I literally watched this exact video that she's talking about. Her explanation of Victoria Day. Wow.
Canada Day was first celebrated in 1867.
Okay.
And the way that Canada Day
Wow, so Canada Day was celebrated all the way back in 1867. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I know about Canada 150, where Canada celebrated its 150th Canada Day, and that wasn't all that long ago either. I wonder what they did to celebrate back in the day.
Day was celebrated at that time is very similar to the way we still celebrate it today.
Oh,
The first Canada Day consisted of bonfires,
yeah.
fireworks,
Oh my gosh, that bonfire is enormous. Enormous. They didn't have like safety codes back then, I'm assuming. And they had fireworks in the 1800s? Is that right? Wow.
military processions, and
Yeah.
entertainment such as music. These
Yeah,
days,
yeah.
when we celebrate
Oh my gosh, this reminds me so much of the 4th of July in America. It's literally like the 4th of July is our version of Canada Day and vice versa.
Canada Day, we usually have things like barbecues,
Yeah.
parades,
Yeah.
picnics, concerts,
Oh my gosh, I like some of these photos she's showing.
things like barbecues,
Barbecue. Okay, now we're talking. I was falling asleep here. Oh, Canada Day, whatever. And then she's like, barbecue. I was like, huh? What? We got barbecue?
parades,
And these inflatable Mountie floats. That's good.
picnics, concerts, and in the evening, firework displays.
Yeah, fireworks is like when Americans think of the 4th of July, you think fireworks. That's like synonymous. That's the whole point. And we're allowed to, in most parts of the country, purchase them around the 4th of July. And I mean, you can launch fireworks out of your own backyard. Like, I don't know if that's normal or legal in Canada, but we go a little nuts here.
When I was a child, my favorite things on Canada Day were seeing the fireworks in the evening
Yeah.
and watching the parade during the day.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. A parade. And the Mounties are part of it. That's fantastic.
Here's a photo of my father and I at one of my first Canada Day parades.
Wow.
Canada Day officially became a statutory holiday in 1879. If
Okay.
something is a statutory holiday, it is a mandatory day off work for employees.
Wow, Canada. You are already like like making statutory holidays, like official holidays where everyone is off work. Like in the 1879? Wow, that is some care about like workers' health and rights and whatnot. Goodness.
You get the day off work with pay. Or if you're
Oh.
unfortunate and have to work on a statutory holiday, you get paid time and a half for your work.
Yeah, the time and a half. That's pretty common for holidays in America because like very often people have to work holidays. I think Christmas Eve and maybe New Year's Day most places are closed, but you better believe most places are open on every other holiday. People get time and a half though.
Originally, Canada Day wasn't called Canada Day. The name of the holiday used to be Dominion Day.
Dominion Day. Well, that kind of makes sense, because that's what it's celebrating, becoming the Dominion of Canada, right?
However, the name was changed from Dominion Day to Canada Day in 1982.
Okay.
This
1982, that's not that long ago. Like 40 years ago. Like for most of Canada's history, it was called Dominion Day. And now it's Canada Day. I like Canada Day. Maybe I'm biased, but that's the only way I've ever heard it. Has a bit of a ring to it. You know, like there's no confusion about what is being celebrated, which is helpful for Americans when it's called Canada Day.
This is because in 1982, we officially got what's called the Canada Act.
Okay.
The Canada Act of 1982 was responsible for patriating Canada. Patriation is the process of when Canada officially became its own sovereign, independent nation.
Oh, I'm so happy that she's going into these details. 'Cause this is what I thought Canada Day was celebrating initially. Patriation is something, and it has a name, that happened in Canada. But that is not what Canada Day is celebrating. But that's when the name changed?
The process of when Canada officially became its own sovereign, independent nation. This is when Canada officially became its own country and wasn't legally considered to be a dominion anymore.
Yeah.
Not until 1982.
Wow, I did not know that. I did not know that was in 1982. That recently. That kind of blows my mind. Wow, okay.
However, Canadians don't celebrate the patriation or celebrate the Canada Act. Instead, Canadians prefer to celebrate Canada Day based on the 1867 time
Right.
when Canadian Confederation
Right.
first happened.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I was confused about. Okay, this is great.
This was especially evident back in 2017 when Canada celebrated its 150th birthday.
2017. Canada 150. I have seen stuff about Canada 150. That's amazing. That's amazing it was so recent. That must have been so exciting. And, man, 150 years exactly. But I don't know. Now we're just on the way to next up is 200 years, I guess, huh? Canada 200.
And announced that the country was 150 years old.
Yeah.
Canadians celebrate Canada Day every year with big festivities.
Right.
However, in 2017, there were extra special events and celebrations to mark the 150th anniversary of Canada's beginnings.
Yeah, that makes sense. There was probably the most epic fireworks show or something. I could probably actually look up stuff about that. I bet there's some cool stuff to react to from Canada 150. Like some awesome celebrations.
I use the verb mark. Mark means to acknowledge and make known a particular event of importance. So Canada Day marks the celebration of Canada joining Confederation.
Right.
As a Canadian, I enjoy celebrating Canada Day because for me, it is a chance to reflect on how lucky I am to live in such a great country.
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate to be in such a beautiful and safe nation.
Right. That's the 4th of July in America is definitely like historically been about like American pride, proud to be an American. I don't know, maybe some of that has actually changed like as time has gone on and now it's more just everyone getting drunk and shooting fireworks at each other. But I can absolutely the spirit is still there, but I absolutely can see how fun this must be in Canada, a special day for Canadians to like outwardly be like, okay, I am so proud and happy to live in this country and be a part of this community. So there's something very beautiful about that.
So, on July 1st, if you are in Canada, please join in the Canada Day celebrations and enjoy thinking about Canada's birthday, having a birthday party. And now it's time for Question of the Day.
Question of the
Today's
day.
question is, what kind of celebrations or holidays do you have in your country connected to celebrating your country?
Okay, well it just so happens I was comparing this to the only thing I know, 4th of July, the entire video. But I'm sure there's celebrations like this for most countries around the world when you start thinking about it. But this was awesome to learn about Canada Day. There was a lot more to the history than I ever imagined, and learning even about how Canadians celebrate and the pride associated with being Canadian was very fun to learn about as well. So I thought this was great. I enjoyed this a bunch, and if you enjoyed this video as well, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and happy Canada Day.